day, my friends. I'm here to talk to you as a follow-up to last week's video about Aftermath. So you decided to kill your character. We've spent however long, a decent amount of time, I hope, talking to your character, getting to know your character, feeling connected with your character. Now you've killed him. So what do we do now? I would recommend with the utmost urgency that you have an aftermath. And the longer you can make the aftermath something that happens, the more it'll matter. So what do I mean when I say that? So let's go back to the movie Up, because Up, for everything that's awful about it in its first 20 minutes, does aftermath beautifully. So aftermath means that, so your character has died, and now what do the other characters look like? The main protagonist of Up is the little boy, but I would argue that the old man is also a big part of it. And the old man has the scars and the trauma from his wife's death, the entire movie, all the way up to the very end when it gets resolved. That is how you make it matter. Because as hard as it is to watch the first time when that young lady dies and you see that they didn't quite make it to their dream vacation and that life kept getting in the way and that they never got to live their dreams and then she's gone and it's for real, she's really gone. When you think back on it, it hurts more because what happens after that is the little old man is miserable. You know, he recluses in and he ignores the world around him, and it's heartbreaking because her death was so impactful that his entire world shifted. And it took the story and the protagonist to come along and be like, hey, let's go live a life and go on wacky adventures and deal with talking dogs and get all kind of silly. But that is an impactful aftermath. So if you're going to kill your character, and I'm not even against it, but if you're going to kill your character, I behoove you, please set the character up so that everybody knows them, spend some time with the character before they die, think about their aftermath. If your character dies on page 5, and then by page 35 we have forgotten the character ever existed, then what was the point? Then you just did it for shock value, and that's not going to work long term. So things like Game of Thrones is a good example. There are characters that die in Game of Thrones that are absolutely heart-wrenching. You're like, no, I felt for that character, I love that character, why did that character have to die? And some characters get some aftermath and we care, and some characters don't, and we don't care. But if you look at a character that dies that means something to you that you remember years later after you've read or watched it, usually you remember it because the character was impactful and then the character had aftermath. The story changed when the character died. That is so, so, so important, because if the world doesn't change for the surviving characters, then the death of the character is irrelevant. And it's hard to get right. It's not the hardest thing to get right, because it's, you know, you can't just be sad. That doesn't work. But you have to have little moments where there's a reflection on something that the characters that survived see or do or are that represents the character that passed. So aftermath. Very, 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 very important if you're going to go down this road and you're going to kill these characters off. And you might as well, because, you know, why not? Let's kill some characters off. But make them matter, because you don't want to waste potential, you don't want to waste time. You make your characters matter, make your story matter, use character death significantly, use aftermath to show what happened next. If you have any questions or comments, of course, I'd love to hear from you guys. The last character video actually did really well by my standards, so hopefully I'll see and hear from some of you for this one. This has been JR. I hope you have a fantastic day.